Good morning, everybody. This is Daniel with Peace and Plenty Farms, all bundled up. It's a cold one. You can see the frost got the fig tree last night. It's amazing how big that thing has grown. It was just a little stem that I planted last spring, and this particular one on the back side of this hill has done really well. And the ones that I planted where I found a little bit of clay in the soil, they have not done well. There's a lot of clay around here. And this particular spot didn't have much clay. Same with the other one I have way on the other side there. But it's been a real long time since I've done a video, so I thought I'd walk you down, show you what's been going on around the farm. It's been a while. Went to Texas and saw Jordan's sweet little wedding. That was lots of fun. But when I got back, there was a little bit of mayhem around here, and I just couldn't get my feet under me and get caught up on things. And so there was a little bit of a catastrophe here. This one here had 8, but 3 of them got cold and died, and so only 5 of them died. 3 of them made it. So that circle around it and the line through it, the Ghostbuster looking sign, tells me that 5 didn't make it, but it's because the heating pads and the boxes weren't up to date. So I put a heating pad in there, and these 3 are doing fine. This one had 10, but none of those made it. No heating pad, didn't have the heating pad in there in time. And this one had 4. I can't remember what happened to her 4, if they froze also. But we've worked really hard to get things up to speed around here. And so normally I walk down here and you can see that the white hair, or fresh white hair, on the ground under this cage. Now normally what I'll do is I stop here and look to see that she's out of the box. Number 2 is out of the box, and number 3 is out of the box. I don't want to walk around here and scare them right in the middle of birthing. They'll hop out of the box and finish birthing out of the box. So I usually come up real quiet here, which I had done a minute ago, so I knew we were okay. And I saw that she had obviously given birth because she's pulled out all this hair. Now there's not one in this cage, but we can walk around here and we can see that she's had 3 or 4 right there, and they seem to be doing fine. I see some movement there. The heating pad is on. This is the controller. So when you buy these heating pads, you have to be sure and buy the ones that don't have timers built into them. It just stays on continually all night. That seems to work the best, that type of heating pad. Maybe I'll find one. It's called a Conair. I tell you what, here's one right here. I'll show you. We'll get down and we'll look at it, and we'll see if we can get the information off of it. That is the heating pad that I use. Conair is all I have on it. I don't see a model number or anything, but that's the information on it. Somehow or another, I think I bought 1 or 2 and I tried them. I don't think they say on the box whether or not they're continuous. But she's ready. This is the second one. She was due the 17th. The way I do this now is I write down the date that I put the mail in there, and usually leave the mail in there for 3 days. Here lately it's been 5, 6, 7 days, something like that. But 3 days, leave the mail in there. That gives me a due date to start expecting, to make sure that the heating pads are on, is 11/17. Now today is 11/20. So another 2 or 3 days and she could still birth. So we'll leave the electric blanket on. Same thing here. I see 1 or 2 pieces of hair pulled out in here. You see one back there in the corner there, and one in the corner over there. So hopefully she'll have them in the box here. So that's all rigged up. The mistake I made, and the reason I lost a couple of babies on that first set I showed you at the beginning of the video, is the wire. I don't know why my brain just fogs up and makes mistakes, but you see the wire in the bottom of that box. I'm going to open it up so that the focus is right. This is much smaller. It's probably 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch, and unfortunately I used 1 by 1. I've got to change this bottom out also, because I replaced a bunch of these bottoms last year, and I did it with 1 by 1. well, the babies can crawl through that. It's got to be 1/2 by 1 in the bottom. Now their manure will tend to catch a little bit more, and there's a little bit more attention to clean up on a 1/2 by 1, but the babies don't fall through. So it gives you a fighting chance to find them and get them into the box. And another thing we did, I'm getting sidetracked, but I want to be sure and tell you about the milk. What we did is we bought some tiny little baby bottles for kittens with little tiny nipples, and several of them, so that if one breaks and we're right in the middle of feeding, we don't have to stop what we're doing. We like to, when I buy things like that, I usually buy 3, 4, 5, whatever, plenty, get all they have off the shelf. It might cost me a little bit at the time, but it avoids an emergency running to the hardware store, the pet store, to get more of them, and a can of powdered milk, which was $18. One of the problems I had with the first 3 I just showed you at the beginning of the video, the reason we lost them was, number 1, it was cold and I didn't have the heating pads on or installed. 2 was, when I did install them, I used the 1-inch and the babies were crawling through in the cage. I had 1-inch in here, 1 by 1, and they were actually crawling through and getting caught. The wire was a little bit short and they were getting caught between the wood and the wire, and there was just all kinds of problems. So this time I used 1/4 by 1/4, a lot tighter, and I rolled the wire up on the side. It's just a tiny bit longer so that it rolls up. That helps to press down the heating pad, and it cuts out them getting caught in between the plywood, in between the wood side of the birthing box. Same thing on the front. It's pretty tight here in the front. And I've tried putting hay in here for them ahead of time to try to fill it in, but they don't, the mamas don't seem to like that. I don't know why, but this seems to work the best, to roll it up tight, and that way they don't get caught in there. So then I had handled the babies so much that I think the mothers just rejected them. So there was 3 or 4 problems right there in a row. The heating pad, the 1 by 1 wire, and the fact that the wire was too short, and then I was handling them. And I didn't have the powdered milk on hand when she rejected them to where I could start feeding them. But I'm ready now. I've got the heating pads in, I've got the 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch wire, and I've got it in there tight. The only thing really I need to do now is get these bottoms changed out. Now they pull right out. They're just set in here. They turn up in the back. You can see how the back turns up 3 inches. Same with the sides and the front. That's how it stays in there. And then this dog cage, it's actually in here upside down, and I can just unhook it and lift the whole front of it up. It hooks on this little hook right here, so I can lift the whole front of this cage up and hook it on this hook right here, and then that bottom tray just pulls right out. So I need to change out, hard to believe, but 8 of them I made wrong, so I've got to change 8 of those. We'll get that done. And so those are the ones that are due right now. Now here are some that have actually made it through this cold spell that we've had, and their eyes are open. They've probably been open only a day or 2. So we have 4 in here, it looks like, that successfully made it. And no heating pad or anything, because when we left to go to Texas, the evenings were in the 60s. When we got back, it was in the 20s here. And there was just so much running around to do that the problems came up. 4 or 5 problems came up. Now this is male D in here. That's male D right there. And then this is the female. And you can see that we had a lot of trouble with male B. He got a lot of no-show Ghostbuster symbols that nothing happened. So B didn't do so well. We do have 1 female that took with B, but that's all. That's out of 4 or 5 different females. But right now, we put male D in there, and that was on the 16th. Today's the 20th. So he's been in there 4 days. It's today or tomorrow, I'll move him to another bay. I've got to figure out which one is next. Of course, these are the next ones in line that'll be coming up. This is the 3rd one that's due, the 2nd one that's due in line, And this is the third one that's due in line. So I've got the heating pads. I've got 12, I see, is it not 12 heating pads altogether? And I do them in threes because I have 3 males, A, B, and C. Male D is my extra for right now because I figure we may have one male that's unproven, which may be B, and B may get processed, and then we'll be back to our 3. So I tend to rotate in threes, 3 males moving along as we go. So here's the heating pads all rigged up. I had to rewire some of them and re-drill holes, and I had to put a wire. I'll show you another piece of wire I put on the birthing boxes. It's up here at the top, just a small piece of wire. I stapled it down. They like to lay up here, but the problem is they eat the edge of the wood. So I'd like to start cutting a piece of oak and putting it in here that they can then chew on the piece of oak. It'll keep their teeth short and give them something, excuse me, for entertainment. And of course, I've said before how I put this piece of plywood on a slant, and that seemed to work the best for the height. So it was 2 inches up and approximately 2 inches here on an angle. When she jumps out, I never have a problem with her pulling the babies out with this piece of wood on there. That knocks them off pretty good. The other, with just the straight up, with it just being straight up perpendicular off the bottom, she was hopping out and not cleaning the babies off when she was finished. So that's what's going on here. This is the next one that could possibly be due. This says 11/19. Today's the 20th. So we'll see how that goes. Now this piece of plywood, notice how I put that in to block the babies from getting out. But they did get out. There was 2. She had 4. She had 4, 3 and 1. One died right at birth. And then another one died much later. That was it was having problems anyway. It was premature or deformed or something. Just didn't look right, wasn't eating right. So I expected that third one to die. But then there were 2 that were 3 to 4 weeks old. Now all of a sudden, we come out here and one of them is laying in here dead and the other one is out. And I've set food. I don't know if you can see, see the trays, the little dishes I put out right there for the one that is out, and she is eating, the little one is eating out, the little kid is eating out of those bowls, food and water right there. And what I'm going to do is put the Havahart out there and put the food and water in that Havahart trap now that she's found it, and we'll catch her without too much trouble. I really appreciate my neighbor giving me all that straw and hay. Those of you that were following along, last year I got that K30 truck done just in time for him. He called me and said, hey, come get all the straw and hay you want out of the field. And so we've got plenty, but we're starting to use it up. This is my wire station. I roll out my wire right underneath this 2x4 that's screwed down. The wire just pulls right out and I can cut it off. I just finished a roll, so I've got to put another roll up there. And it'll be the 1/2x1. That way I can make the cages for the bottom of the dog cages for the rabbits. Here's my extra wire. Now I have plenty of wire because I want to build another rabbit house, a big one. I've got big plans, so I'm stockpiling the material for that. Let's walk around here and see what else is going on, what else we've gotten done. We've been doing a lot, and it's been without videotaping just because of being busy. The Silkie, I had one Silkie hen that went broody on me, and I snatched her up and brought her over here to this little spot that I have. Well, she's sitting on those eggs now. Now this morning she wasn't. Let's go and visit her for a second. Now, she was not sitting on those eggs this morning when I came in, and she was not sitting on them yesterday when I came in. I had to pick her up. She was sitting over here, and I had to pick her up and move her back to the eggs. So I don't think this Silkie broody And I can just tell by the way she's holding her head, she's not really into it. She's like halfway doing it. And if she doesn't pull this off, I'm probably going to process her, because she really doesn't lay eggs anymore. She's gotten old, I guess, doesn't lay eggs, and doesn't correctly brood anymore. So we may process her. Now, this is the copper Moran's coop right here. And here we have the one hen and the one rooster. And the hen has been laying eggs. I've been collecting those. There's the one for today. And I put about 10 or 12 of those in the incubator up at the house, so that we could try to hatch those. I want to get busy and hatch as many of these black copper and the black Morans and the copper Morans. The pigs are here to say hello. I want to walk you around inside here and show you what I've done. I've done a lot in here in the last couple of days. Some of it is old stuff and some of it's new stuff, but I'm just going to walk you around what I call the stockyard here. And those that are new can see what we're doing, and the other ones will say, yeah, I've seen that before. But there's going to be some new things in here. So this is the diving board that I put in for the copper Moran. So you just saw them inside the coop, and they have their access out the back, and they can come right out here. Now, I had to make this really heavy duty because with the pigs here, they will root and tear at anything. But I've also got 2 of the electrical lines going underneath of it to help deter them from destroying this setup right here. Now, this is for the rabbits. This pipe, this is the size pipe, that a 6-inch pipe that I use so that the rabbits can get out, but the chickens can't get in. So if the chickens want their feed and they don't want the pigs eating it, it's this. I'm going to show you this pig sampling my shoe. This one likes to be scratched on the forehead. No, don't bite my feet. This one likes to be scratched on the forehead. This one, he's not too crazy about being scratched on the forehead. Let's try and see. See, he backs up away from me. He'd rather eat something than let me scratch him on the forehead. Okay, let's see if they'll let me finish here. So here come the Moran, the rooster, copper Moran. He's coming on out. Now their section, they can go down that walk board over there, and they've got feed on that other side. And the rabbits have this cage that's in there. That's their area right there. The pigs are chewing on my shoes. No, you can't have my shoes. She just bit my shoe. I know you want to eat it, but you can't. They think it's alive. I guess the leather or whatever is in there. Let's walk over here. I might have to close myself in to be able to do a video here with the pigs sampling. Now, with the pig dish, I finally got one of those pet tie. This is like a corkscrew that ties down the pigs thing. Otherwise, they would just turn it over. They love to turn everything over. I've got concrete blocks in here for them that they can turn over, and they like to flip things over and dig at everything. So I got this little area fixed up for them. They've got a little shelter now, and I've got an extra bucket. When it rains, I feed them over here. See, she's already trying to turn these blocks over. Now underneath of here, I've got the porcelain lights. I've shown you those before, but I added in this pipe right here so that the pigs and the rabbits and all that wouldn't eat the cord. And I'll have to run, when I do run the cord this year, I used to just lay it on the ground. I'll have to run it up high so the pigs and the rabbits don't eat it. The honeysuckle, I had to put cages around that and to help protect that. The pigs were eating that. But I'm going to step in here because the pigs are following me and chewing on my shoes. But I want to show you what I did with this area right here. The pigs are desperate to eat my shoes. Look at how wet my shoe is from them chewing on me just as we were walking along. So, like I said, here's another pipe for the electric coming up, and that's to keep this water warm. And I can put that on a timer, or I can plug it in and unplug it as we need it to save electricity. And there's 2 porcelain light fixtures and 2 200-watt bulbs in there. This is the rabbits area. So I caught the rabbits and I put them in here for a couple of days, and I used this 6x6 to plug the pipe hole here And I had to put a lot of concrete blocks on it because the pipe is sticking through the fence and the pigs kept digging at it. And I covered up this honeysuckle. I want this honeysuckle to grow up, you know, big, and so that it'll create a barrier and they can enjoy the outside, what grows on the outside, but not eat the whole plant. Now, I've talked about, this is where I put the hay for the rabbits, hay and straw for the rabbits when I'm colonizing. When I'm colonizing over here, I use this hinge lid right here to put the hay and straw in. And in the winter time, when I cut the field grass and it's fresh, I put it right in there also. Any weeds or whatever, put it right in there. Because if it's not up off of the ground, rabbits' tendency is to climb on it, walk through it, and then they won't eat it. So it's got to be up where they won't trample it, pee on it, poop on it. And that's up off the ground just high enough where they can still reach it and eat it. It's got 1x1 bottom in it so they don't pull it all through, and then a 2x3 sides on the wire, the welded wire. And I had this little box in the trash, and I threw that in here because they could dig underneath of that if they wanted to and have a little place to hide out. And I put the pig's working his way in here. They'll dig at anything and everything. So there's a little ramp going up there where they can lay on the roof and get warm if they want to. We put those blocks in level at the bottom, and then we were able to put an angle on that piece of plywood. That plywood was $50 a sheet for 1/2 inch. So that'll give you an idea. The cost of farming has gotten out of hand. Shoes, a really good pair of leather shoes. I was looking for shoes last night. It's $250. I had to settle for the $120 pair of shoes because I just wear boots out so fast. I really want to show you this Silkie area because this is the most interesting over here thing that I've done here recently. Now, the rabbits were getting in here and they were just living in here. They were actually born in here. They were born in that little hole down there. On the previous videos, I have that. But I wanted to get the rabbits out of this area. So what I did is I cut a hole in the Silkie coop right there. Here they are back eating my outfit. I'm gonna have to step inside here. They'll just sit here and chew on me. I want to show you all of this that I've done in here because this is part of the Stockyard colony living that we've done. So I cut a hole in the coop right there, and the chickens could, if they wanted to, come out and go right off of this, what I call a diving board. Now the hole I cut in the fence, I tried to cut it small enough so that just the Silkie could go out and the reds couldn't get in. But yesterday, the reds actually hopped up there and squeezed through that hole. It was really funny to watch them, but I came over here and chased them out. I may actually build a little bit of a tunnel, maybe just a foot-long tunnel from the fence coming in about a foot. That way the copper Morans, they're a much bigger chicken. They won't be able to squeeze through. I went ahead and moved the feed to right here, and I put this little roof on it. It's held down by this lid right here. Another thing I did in here is, let's see if I can prop this up and hold the camera at the same time. So what I did is I built 3 little birthing boxes up here, and they're using them. The first night or two they didn't, but you can see that they're getting up there now. And I've got their extra feed in here just to keep it dry for right now. But and this is on hinges. This whole wall right here is on hinges. All you have to do is unscrew this, and this whole wall opens, and I can just rake out everything and then put this screw right back in it. That's why this is on here, because of the hinges. So that worked out pretty well, because we're going to try to get up to about 10 or 12 hens in this little area. And once they start laying and brooding, they will be the broodies for the copper Morans and the black Morans. And we'll get away from the reds, and we'll just have Morans and Silkies around here. But that's like a 2-year plan to get, 100 or 200 Silkies. Now over here, what I did is I did my tunnel. I call it a tunnel, a little square wire and that way the silkies can slip out right here. And I have that 8x8 by 16 block that I stick in there at night, and in the morning I take it out. And of course there's the electric fence and all that. But the silkies haven't found that escape right there so that they can get out and enjoy the free range. But they'll find it. They'll find it eventually. Well, that is kind of what's been going on lately. This is the stockyard. It's a colony because I've got the rabbits, I've got the copper morans, and I've got the silkies all living together in here. And the rabbit population, I'm going to let that grow to a pretty good size in here. The silkies are going to grow to a real good size. And there'll be quite a few in here is the plan down the road. And this has got the net over above. It's got the fence with the 12-inch barrier that's on the bottom and then laid on the ground on the outside and on the inside. This closed-in area, which is 50 by 100. I've got the wire, the chicken wire. You can see it's right here, and it lays up here onto the fence, and I've got it all tied in inside and out, so the rabbits can't get out and the predators can't get in. Of course, there's electric fence out there, and there's electric fence in here. Well, I thank you for everybody watching, and come grow with us.